You can maximize the benefits you get from sleep by sleeping at the right time. This usually is between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. Let's call it beauty time. This is a general time frame, and factors like time zone, daylight savings time, time of year, etc. all affects when beauty time occurs. But if you follow the general guideline, you should be fine. We produce a bunch of hormones in our bodies, and if we align with them, we're gonna have a good time. During beauty time, we produce the sleeping hormones at their strongest doses, things like melatonin and human growth hormone. Have you heard of it? It's also known as a youth hormone because it makes you youthful. It's responsible for bone strength and skin quality, to name a few. Yeah, I didn't cover it all in my first video. There's just too much. 10 p.m. might seem early to you, but it makes sense if we look back. And I mean way back to when humans were prey. Daytime was the safest time to gather resources like food and water. We don't see, hear, or smell well enough to navigate the dark, which could lead to a swift death.
But we're not in the wild anymore anyway, so who cares?
Shut up, Eric! Although it's true that nowadays we have artificial light, secure shelter, refrigerators, and endless stimuli that makes nighttime more and more of an attractive option, keep in mind that our genetics haven't changed that much from our ancestors who lived in the wild. For our genetics to adapt to this recent lifestyle change is gonna take thousands of years. To sum it up, staying up late is like running on all four. You can do it, but you're not designed to. If you're awake during beauty time, you're gonna be affected by something called second wind, where all of a sudden you're gonna feel wide awake. This happens because your body was ready to restore your body and mind, which it does most effectively during beauty time. But since you were awake, all the energy that would go into maintenance are now being used to keep you awake instead. Can't maintain while you're awake, it would be like maintaining a car while you're still driving it. Alright, let's move on to the concept of sleep debt. People like to think they'll catch up on sleep during the weekend, and it's true. Our bodies can recover from sleep debt with a few nights of quality sleep. What can't be done, however, is the undoing of your mistakes and missed opportunities while you were sleep deprived. Let's say you're moody one night because you got poor sleep, say something you didn't mean and now you've hurt a loved one. Or you're at school and the teacher gives the class a tip for the upcoming test, but you were too sleepy to understand it or even remember it the following day. Another issue with sleep debt is the irregular sleep schedule. Our bodies and minds love habits and create them to make things more efficient. For instance, my brother had a period at work where he had to work in the morning, but when that ended and he wanted to sleep in, his body still woke up in the morning, basically saying, aren't we doing this? Just when your body gets used to waking up early, you ruin it by sleeping in. However, you are repaying a sleep debt, so basically you're solving one problem while making another. The solution is to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. Of course you can make exceptions like during New Year's, just make sure the exception is more important to you than the benefits we've covered. And also remember, just by going to bed earlier, you're not losing time, you're just changing when that time is. Sweet, we got that checked off. I'm just gonna drink some water before we're moving on, and subtly implying that you should too. So, sleep cycles. When we're asleep, we go through 5 different stages of sleep. A cycle of these stages typically lasts 90 minutes. Waking up during stage 4 or 5 will make you feel awful. But waking up during stage 1 is like waking up without an alarm. An unnecessary analogy would be like you're falling when you're sleeping. The stage you're in determines at what speed you're falling at. When you wake up, the ground is gonna appear beneath you. So if you're falling fast, it's gonna hurt pretty bad. If you're in stage 1, it's gonna be a gentle landing. Just like your body prepares to fall asleep, it will also prepare to wake up with a consistent schedule. Although your sleep cycles might not last 90 minutes right now, they will adapt with consistency. Sleepy Time is a site that can help you along. Here you can say when you wish to wake up and it'll tell you when you should fall asleep. Note that you should fall asleep at these times, not go to bed. Alright, enough theory. Let's move on to the actual good stuff. Having a bedtime routine can make it even easier for your body and mind to recognize it's time to wind down. What you do isn't as important as it's the same every time. I, for instance, play the piano, do the dishes, brush my teeth, floss, do some stretching/yoga, and finish with some meditation. Meditation is a great setup for falling asleep, but more on that in a later lesson. It really helps that all these activities are relaxing. Well, maybe not piano at times. Just make sure none of these activities require a screen. You'll find out why in the next lesson. Your instinct after deciding to wake up early might be to start waking up at 6 a.m. right off the bat. This strategy is called cold turkey and will yield the fastest results. Of failure? A much more merciful method would be to go back 15 minutes every 3 to 5 days. As an example, if you're used to waking up at 8 a.m., then on Monday you can wake up at 7:45, and then 7:30 on Friday, then 7:15 on Tuesday, and so on. As for actually getting out of bed in the morning, make sure you put your alarm across the room so you have to get up to turn it off. After that, head for the bathroom, and after you washed your hands, you can squirt water in your face if you're still feeling sleepy. The colder it is, the more you'll wake up, but also the more uncomfortable it'll be. If you're still feeling sleepy, you need to wake up your senses by drinking some water, putting on some good music, or even doing some jumping jacks. And if you're still sleepy, you're a lost cause. I don't know what's wrong with you. Before going to bed, you should plan out a morning routine. This will prevent you from creeping back into bed for not having anything to do. Whew. We went through a lot this lesson. Let's recap a little bit to make sure it didn't just all go over your head. In general, you want to be asleep during the hours of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. because that's when you get the most benefits from sleep. Sleep debt causes short-term problems that can have long-term effects. In general, you want to sleep 9 hours, 7.5 hours, 6 hours, etc. to try and time with your sleep cycles. And we finished with some strategies for making it as easy as possible to go to bed and wake up early. The way I see it, you're not a morning person or a night owl. You choose to be one. And until I see you again, take care of yourselves.